Glory to God for yet another blessed day. So welcome to Ehiliz talk show. Vivid view.
Say and do it.
You must do the things you think you cannot do. Say something, somebody.
My name is Ogenesume. You must do the things you think you cannot do. What I understand by this is that everything is possible if you believe. You need to take the hard decisions and push yourself beyond your present limitations, because impossibility today is tomorrow's possibility. Thank you.
My name is Adebisi. You must do the things you think you cannot do. In my opinion, giving in a try a new skill to see your ability and learn from it. Either it gives positive result or negative result. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the answers to that teaser. You must do the things you think you cannot do. They say no venture, no success. So you must believe in yourself. Take new skills in your academics. Take new skills in whatever you want to really achieve. Don't say, oh, I don't think I can do this. You just condemn yourself first without making a trial. So that try is very, very important. It could be that it could even be in forgiveness. You don't like to forgive. You don't empathize. Putting yourself in another person's shoe and all that. Things you think is difficult for you, but it might not necessarily be difficult if only you give that chance and that opportunity. So as a young person, try something else. Try something else you think that is so difficult. As long as somebody else is doing it, and that person doing does not have two heads, because if you have two heads, it's already abnormal. You too can equally do so. So don't limit yourself in just in one place and say, this is just the limit I can do as a young man. Because you have the energy, you have the strength, you have the power. But remember, you must be positive. Do the things you think cannot do positively, not negatively. All right, we'll stop here for now. Continue with our lesson for today. Vivid view.
Say and do it.
Nobody's an island, so we need each other to survive this storm of life. Therefore, toxic relationship is the topic for today's discussion. It is time for a break, and when we come back, the guests we introduce don't go away. Vivid view.
Say and do it.
Welcome back. In case you're just joining us, the topic again is toxic relationship. And with me in the studio is a known face. He is a clergyman. Let's make welcome Bishop Mike Ekah.
Vivid view.
Say and do it.
Before discussion proper, please follow us on our social media handles are displayed on the screen. Bishop, you're welcome again.
Thank you for having me.
So without wasting more time, can we just have your perspective on the subject matter?
Okay, the subject matter is toxic relationship. Before we go in details at what toxic relationship is, I think we should look at the terminologies, that is the words toxic and relationship. Now, when we say something is toxic, it means that it is severely harmful. Something severely harmful is toxic. And it's from this word toxic that the pharmacists have their own word called toxicology. And toxicology is when something or a drug is having a chemical substance that is harmful to one's health when ingested or when it goes into the body otherwise. So when we now come to a relationship is the way one or two persons connect or associate, or behave toward one another. So that is a relationship. So when we now talk of toxic relationship, we are talking of the way that people relate with one another that is severely harmful. The way people connect or behave to each other that is severely harmful. So that is toxic relationship.
Thank you so much for that definition and your perspective on that. Like we know, to say when you say something is very toxic, It's really, really very harmful. And so we're talking about relationship here, and also it's a little bit away from domestic violence, a little bit away from that. And so thank you so much for that. So what breeds toxic relationship among couples or friends?
Yeah, toxic relationship doesn't start out being toxic. It develops gradually. It develops through behaviors, attitudes, that goes on for a while, and then
Exactly. Yeah.
with time it becomes harmful to the other party. So there are a lot of things that could breed toxic relationship. One of them is addiction. For instance, when one is addicted to alcohol, it can, with time, it can become toxic to the other
partner,
person, to the
yeah.
partner. Perhaps he goes out and drinks and then comes back, and out
Found
of
the partner and say, punching back.
yeah, it becomes he becomes dangerous to the partner, and then financial irresponsibility, can also breed a toxic relationship. Spending excessively, being indebted, it can hurt the other partner. And then also you have a situation where someone, for instance, can get into spending thrift. He spends, without looking back, and spends on even frivolities, things that don't matter, and that can hurt the other person. And then we also have a situation where you control and manipulate the other person, controlling and manipulating the other person to the extent that you seek to isolate them, and then when you dominate them, you isolate them, you don't want any other person to talk to them, with time, that can also lead to a toxic relationship. Then you have lack of empathy, where you don't have feeling for the other person. You don't feel what they will feel. They say, do unto others what you want done to you. And so when you are doing to the other person what you cannot take, that is a lack of empathy. Then also you have a situation where there is selfishness. You prioritize your needs, your desires, and your happiness above your partner's own. With time, that can also it can also lead to a toxic relationship. So, like I said earlier, there are so many things that could breed a toxic relationship.
Yes, thank you so much. Infringing into someone's freedom can as well bring a toxic relationship, because it's only what you say is that will happen. You don't allow him or her to do what he also wants. That can also be helpful in the family. And then breeding or issues that are not being treated at the time can also forgiveness and all. For where two people are, there must be time for hello, this kind of that. It can happen at any time. But why will you keep it? Why will you put it under the carpet? Discuss it. But if you don't, you start building up. That will start magnifying it more and more. Before you know it, it becomes toxic. So what we're saying here now is that we must try as much as we can to ensure that we avoid this toxic relationship. We'll take a break now. We'll come back. We'll continue. Vivid View.
Say it and do it.
Welcome back. We're still discussing toxic relationship. And Bishop Mike, you mentioned earlier that toxic relation does not just start overnight. It can be a very long time. Someone must be enduring and all that.
That's
now,
right.
why do people remain in toxic relationship regardless of earlier warnings and signs?
Okay, there are so many reasons why people remain in toxic relationship, regardless of the earlier warnings or signs that are there. One of such reasons is emotional attachment. You find that when one party becomes emotionally attached to the other, walking away from such a relationship or association becomes very difficult. And then also you have a situation where somebody is optimistic, that is optimism and hope, because of the way the toxic relationship is, there's a circle of hurt, and then there's also comfort. The person hurts you and then comes around, pets you, buys you gift or whatever, does something nice, and then you look and say, oh, he will change. And then you are hopeful that with time it will get better. The circle of hurt will cease, it will stop. And then you discover that instead of stopping, it begins to get worse, until sometimes it can even lead to very severe situation where it results to death. And another reason why a lot of persons remain in a toxic relationship in spite of the signs and the warnings is a shared commitment or investment. Shared commitment and investment. Now, what do I mean by that? You find that sometimes in a relationship, especially between couples, you have children. The children are there, and then there are properties that have been bought together, investments have been made together, and financial investments and all that stuff. And it becomes very difficult for one of the parties to walk away because you say, I'm just looking at my children, and because of the children, they stay on, and the toxicity, continues. So, and then you also look at financial dependence, where one party is financially dependent on the other. It becomes very difficult to walk away from such a relationship, because when they walk away, it's like walking away to nothing. And so if they are walking away to nothing, it becomes very hard, for that individual to do what to walk away from such relationship. And then also you have societal, family, and even religious expectation. There are standards that have been set in society. There are norms in the society, and especially like in our African society, we don't expect that we give our daughters out in marriage, for instance, and then they are coming back home. So after marriage, we consider that you have been settled and you should live your life and also begin to raise your own family. So it becomes an embarrassment, to the family when a daughter who has been given out in marriage is coming back home to stay, or is now living on their own as a single person again, or a single parent. So it becomes an embarrassment. And then you find that if a young man is to go to such a family, for instance, to get married, you find some people will tell them behind that, oh, don't go to that family, or they don't, their daughters don't remain in marriage, or don't go to that family, or their sons, they batch their wives, and religious expectations also. There are standards that are set, in churches, in mosques, and we don't expect that those standards are violated. And so because of that, we begin to have this fear that what would people say? What would my family say? What would my church say? And looking at all those things, so it becomes difficult for people to walk out of toxic relationship, and that's why they stay on.
You have really enumerated some of them, really. shame, like you said, what will people say?
Yeah.
Because of my children. And so many other reasons you remain there. In as much as we too, from this platform, do not support divorce, if it's to that extent that you have gotten here, please, you can separate, you can take a little walk away from that for your safety. Because in that, and you are being killed, that's the end of it. We have seen so many cases too. They tried to manage and they couldn't, and death ends it or ended it. So it's really not something we encourage. What we do here is to see that you don't even get to that stage of toxic relationship. When something comes, please settle it immediately and continue. Offense must surely come. You yourself, you're not perfect. So you must also expect that your partner is not also perfect. Let empathy always come in whenever this kind of thing comes up. And by the grace of God, you will get through. Look at other marriages too that succeeded. You can also succeed. So that is what I want to say here before we take this break. We will take a break now, and then we'll be time for question and answer. Vivid View.
Say and do it.
My name is Dada Afumi Joseph, and my question is, what should a person do when family and religious leaders tell them to stay in a toxic relationship?
My name is Adebisi. My question is, how do you boldly walk out from a toxic relationship and regain your self-esteem? Thank you.
My name is Ogenesume, and my question is, what are the red flags that indicate that a person is about to enter into a toxic relationship?
Welcome back. A lot of questions from the audience. Please, our guests, over the answers. Thank you.
Okay, some of the questions you've asked. What should one do when family and religious leaders advise to remain in a toxic relationship? Well, it's not all relationship that is toxic. Now, when we say something is toxic, like we said earlier, it means that it is severely harmful. So it's not every misunderstanding that you have in a relationship you can term to be toxic. Now, we must draw this line because when some relationship, especially young couples, when they face little argument, they say, "Oh no, the relationship is toxic. We are not compatible. We can't stay together." No, you must give time for patience. Okay, so when family and religious leaders advise to remain in a relationship, that is probably because they can see that the relationship has not got to that level of toxicity yet. And so, but when it becomes really toxic and everybody can see that this is now dangerous, it can lead to a loss of life, then it becomes obvious, and nobody will want death to any of the parties. And so I don't think that anybody, any family member or
At
any
that stage,
religious
yeah.
leaders at that stage will still tell you that you must
Remain.
you must remain. Okay, so that is that. But and then number 2 question is, what are the signs, that one is about to go into a toxic relationship? The signs are always there, However, because of that emotional attachment, because of love, in quote, you overlook the signs, he beats you the first time, or you say,
Sorry.
it's just a mistake, and then that will be reinforced because when he beat you the first time, nothing happened, and so he will beat you again, and then again, and again, and again, until it gets really worse. And then also, you notice that he's into drug abuse or substance abuse. and then you tolerate it. You say, okay, he will change, I will change him, or I will change her. And then you open your eyes and you get to the relationship, giving yourself that false hope that you are going to change him or you will change her. That is another sign. Then,
sometimes those signs might be there during courtship.
yes, they are there. They're cautious. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you notice them at the earliest stage, but then you overlook them and you say, oh, you will change him or you will change her when you are married. Now, if you cannot change them while you are courting, then I'll tell you that you cannot change them while you are married.
Yes.
And then, again, you find that there is financial irresponsibility. You notice that the way this person is spending, is alarming. But then you say, oh, you overlook it, and it tells you, oh, be a man. Are you not a man? You must, and you keep spending, and they are not trying to build with you. They are not looking at how you can stand, firm in the future, how to build a family together, and then it's on both sides. It's not only from the female side, both from the male side and from the female side. And then when you notice that there's this financial irresponsibility with one of the parties, and you overlook it, that's a red flag. So there are so many red flags that are there that you must look out for. You understand? You must look out for them. And once you notice them, you try and address it. And if you discover that the person is not going to change, then you withdraw from the relationship. I'll give you an instance,
That's the best to withdraw.
Many years ago, that should be close to 40 years ago now, or thereabout, 30-something years ago to be precise. There was this lady I was supposed to get married to, and she came and she would tell me, oh, because you are the only son, they have over-pampered you, I'm going to deal with you. And then I sat down and I thought to myself, we are not married yet, and she's
Dealing with you is already
she's
coming
dealing
in.
with me already. So if we get married, what is going to happen? So, well, I told her, if you don't change some of these attitudes I've noticed, if you don't change them, well, I can't go further. And she left for a while, and then another time she came back and said, okay, when are you going to continue seeing my people? Because I was already taking wine to some of her family members and relations already. So he said, when are we going to continue? I said, I told you, if you don't change, I'm not going further. And then she stood up and said, well, it might take me 10 years to change. And if after 10 years, if I'm still there, okay. If I'm not there, then fine. So, and she stood up as she was leaving. I said, well, it might take you 10 years to change, and you might not be there after 10 years. So just pick your things as you are going. And she picked her things and left. And that was how the relationship ended. So when you see red flags, so when you notice red flags, address them immediately. Don't give yourself that false hope that things are going to change. Okay, so how do you boldly walk out from a toxic relationship? That is
And regain your self-esteem.
question that we also have. How do you boldly walk out from a toxic relationship and regain your self-esteem? Number one is to seek counsel, and seek wise counsel, not just counsel, but wise counsel. I will find that these days, when people have issues, they go to social media, they put it on social media, and everybody is talking, speaking to them, and so they receive confusing and conflicting counsel. So I think you should go to a qualified counselor, who will offer counsel to you, and wise counsel also at that, so that you get a clear direction of what you are to do. Number two is you should accept reality. Accept reality. Don't hang on with the false hope that the person will change or the relationship will get better. That is when it is a toxic relationship. Tell yourself the truth, and be ready to walk out of such a relationship. And then also, you must set boundaries. Set boundaries. When you set boundaries, you walk out of that relationship, you set boundaries. And such boundaries will help you not to fall again into their trap of manipulation. Because the truth is that when you walk out of a toxic relationship, there will be a moment of grief. You will feel it. There will be that feeling of grief. And sometimes it can be very deep and very hurtful. That's why you find that sometimes some people walk out of a relationship and then they will not eat for 2 or 3 days. They will not talk to anybody. They will not even take their shower and all of that. So that is very much expected. You will miss them at a point, even though the relationship has been very toxic, you will miss them at a point because there are some good sides to them too. So you may miss that, but you must tell yourself the truth and set such boundaries so that when they come back to you and try to sweet talk you into getting back into that relationship, you'll be able to maintain your ground. And then also, you develop yourself. Because we said that one of the reasons why people stay on in a relationship that is toxic is because of financial dependence. And then also when they are depending on the other party, for almost everything that they do. And so if you develop yourself, and you focus on rebuilding your life, you will be able to walk out of such a toxic relationship. And then also overcome the problem of fear. That's fear of the unknown. What am I going to do? How am I going to survive? And all of that. So if you focus on developing yourself and rebuilding your life, you will be able to overcome such fear. And that will help you to boldly stand and walk out. And then also, when you have succeeded in rebuilding yourself, refocusing your life, and then developing yourself, you find that your self-esteem begins to return to you. Okay, so that is that.
All right, thank you so much. Can we have your parting words now?
My parting word would be, not all relationships are toxic, like we said earlier. And toxic relationships, they don't just begin, they develop gradually. And so when you notice that a relationship has become toxic, then you must make a wise decision. And that decision is that you are the one who is in that relationship, and you are the one who is wearing the shoe. They say he who wears the shoes knows where it pinches. So when even family and friends and society and even the religious body is telling you to stay on, you are the one that will decide whether you want to lose your life or if you want to stay alive. And if you find that the relationship is toxic, that will lead to death, then I think it is wise that you walk out.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much, Bishop. We already said it all. It's always say that a word is enough for the wise, because with this what we are seeing now happening, some people in this toxic relationship are not alive to talk about it, because they have endured with all the points we mentioned before as one of the causes why they should remain. But like he said, you are the one that wear the shoes. You know where it pitches you. And I'm not talking of divorce immediately now, but they can separate. If you report to some social bodies that can counsel you, like you mentioned earlier, they go ask you. I know someone that was so close to me that they were asked to separate for 6 months. and see. Within 3 months, they started looking for themselves. Even the woman started looking for the man started looking for the woman within 3 months. So they can also ask you to separate for some time, and if it works, it's okay. You can go back. Some people do repent, some can change. It's difficult for people to change, but some do also change when they see weigh it both sides, that at least why should I even continue this? Let allow peace to reign. You can see go back to your relationship. But remember, like I said earlier, nobody is perfect. You the man, you're not perfect. You the woman, you're not perfect. So try and see how you can meet up with your imperfections, and then the marriage will go. Many too that has also survived. The marriage has survived because it's supposed to actually be till they do us part. That's why it's supposed to be. I use the word suppose now. That was the intention of God before creating that institution. But unfortunately now, because we are humans, we are not only able to, some people are not able to maintain that. So this is my conclusion now, that you try, listen and take your decision in spite of the advices people give you here and there. Okay, having said this, I want to thank Bishop again for your time with us, and to thank the viewers and audience seated here. Thank you for being with us. And also to say glory be to God for this period. He also allowed us to be alive to do what we have just done. Of course, production crew, thank you so much for a job well done, and our executive producer. I want to thank everyone. Of course, we will not stop saying hello and thanks to our sponsor, those who made us to CB on the air. We pray that God will continue to promote your businesses. Having said this, I want to invite artist Solid T to sign out. Another edition next week, so join us in all our social media handles. I am Ehiliz, your host. Goodbye. Vivid View.
Say and do it.
Vivid view with Ehiliz. Whatever I think, I could do it. Whatever I say, I could do it.
I know they sleep, I they walk every day. Oh, shiny coco. Now every day I they walk for the mullah. Oh, shiny coco. As I they walk hard, I they pray. Oh, shiny coco. Oluwa let the money come my way. Oh, shiny coco. Organa boss, you know setting down the cost. Make the money they enter daily, so we go feed the afford. Oga say you be boss, you be boss. Baba for the boys, Make the money they enter daily, so we go feed the afford. Oh baby, my baby, sumo vision for your daddy, your body, Ekah. I love you the way that you move it. Call me anytime, girl, you know I'm available. Girl, you ready to save money day for my baby. I know they sleep, I they walk every day. Oh, shiny coco. Now every day I they walk for the mullah. Oh, shiny coco. As I they walk hard, I they pray. Oh, shiny coco. Oluwa let the money come my way. Oh, shiny coco. Organa boss, you know setting down the cost. Make the money they enter daily, so we go feed the afford. Oga say you be boss, Baba for the boys, Make the money they enter daily, so we go feed the afford. I'm a cat today, but I no reason I say you don't say today. Tomorrow go day, your buyer go day. Make you know the rush. One day you go buy the Porsche. You go to church. Give testimony for church. Oh baby, my baby, sumo vision for your daddy, your body, Ekah. I love you the way that you move it. Call me anytime, girl, you know I'm available. Girl, you ready to save money day for my baby. I know they sleep, I they walk every day. Oh, shiny coco. Now every day I they walk for the mullah. Oh, shiny coco.